Hello, this is Janila, the person behind Crafty Crochet Castle, and in this video I'm going to show you the pattern to crochet the Rocket Firecracker. This tutorial is beginner friendly and the pattern is intermediate. This is a perfect scrap yarn project and can be done very quickly. I hope you would crochet this along with me. This firecracker measures about 9 inches from top to bottom. Gauge is not a critical factor for this pattern. To crochet the Rocket Firecracker, I'm using worsted weight yarn in 5 colors: tan, white, red, blue, and you would need very tiny amount of yarn in yellow. I'm also using a 4.5 mm crochet hook along with scissors, yarn needle, stitch marker. Pipe cleaner is optional, and we would need some polyfill stuffing. The details are in the description box below. Now let us work on the head of our Rocket Firecracker. For that I'm starting off with a blue yarn. I'll do a magic circle here. To do a magic circle, I'm going to hold the yarn like this and wrap it around my 2 fingers once. I'm going to cross it over at the point where both the yarn meets, and I'm going to hold tight over here and carefully take my fingers out. Next, I'm going to insert my hook inside this little loop, yarn over and bring up a loop. This yarn is from the skein end. Next, I'm going to take all the fingers, making sure the entire thing is in place, and carefully hold it. So it should look like this. Next, I'm going to yarn over and pull through the loop on the hook. So there we have a little knot here, and this is a magic circle. This ring is adjustable and we'll be working around 1 stitches in here. Round 1 stitches are 6 single crochet inside this ring. If you do not prefer to work with magic circle, you can do chain 2 and work 6 single crochet in the second chain from the hook. So now let me show you how to do a single crochet. To do a single crochet, I'm going to insert my hook in here, yarn over and bring up a loop. So now I have 2 loops on the hook. I'll yarn over and pull through both the loops. This is a single crochet. I'll do 5 more single crochet in here so that we have a total of 6 single crochet. For the pattern of the Rocket Firecracker, we'll be working in rounds, and I'm not going to join at the end of each round unless I mention it. Now, when you've made your 6 single crochet stitches in here, hold the tail and pull slowly. You see how our magic circle is getting smaller and smaller? Once when you pull it tight, our magic circle will be closed. Now let's work on round 2. For round 2, I'll directly be working on the very first single crochet that we did here. So here I will do 2 single crochet in the same stitch. So I'll be inserting my hook inside the stitch. I'll do 1 single crochet and another single crochet in the same stitch. And in my next stitch, I will do 1 single crochet. So this will be the repeat pattern for the round. The repeat pattern is 2 single crochet in the next stitch, followed by 1 single crochet in the next stitch. I'll do it one more time here. Round 2 will have a total of 9 single crochet. To make counting the stitches easier, you can either use a stitch marker or a piece of yarn to either mark the end of the round or the beginning of each round. I'm using a stitch marker here to mark the end of each round. Now let's work on round 3. For round 3, I will do 2 single crochet in my next stitch, followed by 1 single crochet in the next 2 stitches. So here's 1 and 2. This will be the repeat pattern for the round. The repeat pattern is 2 single crochet in my next stitch, followed by 1 single crochet in the next 2 stitches. This round will have a total of 12 single crochet. By using a stitch marker, we can easily identify the last stitch in the round. Once when I'm at that point, I'll remove the stitch marker, work on my stitch. This would be the last stitch for this round, and I will place the stitch marker again on the last stitch. This is how I'll be using my stitch marker. I'll remove it, work my stitch, place it in the last stitch and the next round so that counting would be easier. Now let's work on round 4. For round 4, I will do 2 single crochet in my next stitch. Followed by 1 single crochet in the next 3 stitches. This would be the repeat pattern for the round. I'll be repeating this pattern 2 more times till I reach the end of the round over here, and this round will have a total of 15 single crochet. Now let's work on round 5. For round 5, I will do 2 single crochet in my next stitch, followed by 1 single crochet in the next 4 stitches. So here's 1, 2, 3 and 4. So this is going to be my repeat pattern. I'll repeat this pattern 2 more times till I reach the end of the stitch marker here, and this round will have a total of 18 single crochet. For round 6, I will do 2 single crochet in my next stitch, followed by 1 single crochet in the next 5 stitches. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So I'll be repeating this pattern 2 more times, and this round will have a total of 21 single crochet. This is how a project will look at the end of round 6. Now let's work on round 7. For round 7, I will do 2 single crochet in my next stitch, followed by 1 single crochet in the next 6 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So I'll be repeating this pattern 2 more times for this round. This round will have a total of 24 single crochet. After completing this round, I'll be joining in my next stitch with a slip stitch. To do a slip stitch, I'll be inserting my hook inside the next stitch. I'll yarn over and bring a loop through the stitch and through the loop on the hook. So this stitch is called as the slip stitch. And here we have finished round 7. Now let's work on round 8. For round 8, we'll be working only on the front loops. So normally when we are working a stitch, we'll be inserting a hook like this inside this V-shaped stitch. So the stitch over here is the front loop and the stitch away from you is the back loop. For this entire round, we'll be working on the front loops only. That is, we'll be inserting a hook like this, leaving the other stitch behind. So for this round, I will start off with a chain 1 first, followed by a single crochet in the front loop only in every stitch around. So I'll be inserting my hook like this and do a single crochet like I would normally do. This round will have a total of 24 single crochet. By working in the front loop only, we would have this ridge on the inside of a firecracker. Look at the other rows, we do not have any ridges, but here we would have this little ridge. So once when we have completed working on all the stitches, I will work on round 9. I'm not joining here. I will simply start crocheting round 9 here. So I'll mark this end with a stitch marker. So now in my very next stitch over here, I will do 2 single crochet in the same stitch. Make sure to work on the single crochet and not on the chain 1 that we did at the beginning of round 8. So now in my next 7 stitches, I'll work 1 single crochet each. This time I'll be working on both the loops. This is the repeat pattern for the round. I'll be following the repeat pattern 2 more times till I'm at the last stitch over here. Make sure to crochet round 9 in both the loops. After completing 27 single crochet in round 9, I'm once again going to join with a slip stitch over here. And we can finish it off over here. So this is how the head of a rocket will look. It will have 1 round worked in the front loops only, so that we have this ridge at the inside. To finish it off, I'm gonna leave a long tail and trim it off over here. Next, I'm going to yarn over and pull through the loop on the hook all the way through and tighten this up. We can weave the tail in later. So this is how the head of our rocket firecracker will look. Now let's continue working on the body of our rocket firecracker. I'm starting off with my white yarn here. I will attach this white yarn to any one of the stitch in this back loop remaining of round 7, that is in the ridge stitch over here. To do so, I'm going to simply fold the project like this, hold my piece like this, and I'll be attaching this yarn. So I'm going to insert my hook inside any one of the stitch over here. I'm going to hold the white yarn and I'm going to draw up a loop. So there we have a loop through one of the stitch over here. Next I'm going to yarn over and pull through the loop. So there we have attached with a slip stitch. Now let's continue working on round 1 for our body in white. For that I will do chain 1, and in this back loop only I will do my stitches. So first I will do a single crochet 2 together. To do a single crochet 2 together, I'll be inserting my hook inside the next stitch, yarn over and bring up a loop. So I have 2 loops on the hook. Instead of completing this single crochet, I'll be inserting my hook inside the next stitch. I'll yarn over and bring up a loop. So now I have 3 loops on the hook, worked on 2 stitches at the bottom. Now I'll yarn over and pull through all 3 loops at once. So this stitch is called as the single crochet 2 together. We'll be taking up 2 stitches and completing it as 1 stitch over here. So now I will do a single crochet in the next 2 stitches in the back loops only. So I'll be doing 1 and 2. So this pattern will be the repeat pattern for the round. The repeat pattern is a single crochet 2 together or a single crochet decrease, followed by 1 single crochet in the next 2 stitches. I'll be repeating this pattern for all the stitches in this round, and this round will have a total of 18 stitches. I'll meet you after I complete all the stitch in this round. So this is how a round 1 of the body would look like. I've completed the round and I've added a stitch marker to the last stitch of the round. Now for round 2 and 3, I'll be following the same pattern. The pattern would be 1 single crochet in every stitch around. So the round would go like this. Round 2 and round 3 will have 18 single crochet in each round. I'll meet you after I complete round 3. Now I'll be doing the last stitch of round 3, which is my 18th single crochet. At this point I'll be changing my yarn color to red. If you are an advanced crocheter, you can do invisible join and change the colors. If you are a beginner, you can follow my directions. And now I'll be working on my last stitch. That is, I'll be inserting my hook, yarn over and bring a loop like how I would do any single crochet. Now instead of completing the single crochet with the white yarn, I'm going to grab my next color, which is red over here, hold it behind, and I'm going to yarn over and bring a loop with a new color yarn. So this is how I will be changing my colors for the project. Now let us continue working on rounds 4, 5 and 6. All these 3 rounds have the same pattern. The pattern would be 1 single crochet in every stitch around, and each round will have a total of 18 single crochet. So I will just normally do 1 single crochet in every stitch around for next 3 rounds in red, and I'll meet you at the end of round 6. Once again, I'm at the last stitch over here. So I will start the stitch like I would normally do, and when I'm finishing up the stitch, I'll be changing my color to white. So I will yarn over white yarn and complete the stitch with white yarn. So once when you do this, you can push the head back in its position and continue working on the body of our rocket firecracker. Now for the next 10 rounds, that is for round 7 to 16, I will be repeating the last 5 rounds, that is round 2 to round 6, 2 times. So we'll have 2 rounds in white and 3 rounds in red, all the rounds having the same pattern, that is 1 single crochet in every stitch around, and each round will have a total of 18 single crochet. I'll meet you after I complete round 16. So this is how our project will look after completing round 16. We have 2 repeats over here. This is the first repeat and this is the second repeat. Now at the end of round 16, I'm going to join with a slip stitch over here in my next stitch. So now we have crocheted the body over here. The next step is to close this opening. To do so, I will do chain 1 over here, and now I'll be working only in the back loops. Earlier we worked on the front loops over here. Now we'll be working in this loop. So first I will do single crochet 2 together or single crochet decrease. You can also use a stitch marker to mark the last stitch of the round. Next I will do single crochet in the back loop only in the next 7 stitches. So here is my first repeat. I'll be repeating this pattern till I meet the end of the round over here. This round will have a total of 16 stitches. We would have this beautiful ridge over here. This would separate the bottom of the firecracker to the sides of the firecracker. Now, before we do the last round for the body, we can stuff this up with some polyfill stuffing. After stuffing, our project looks like this. Make sure to stuff nicely so that we have a nice pointed edge at the top of our firecracker. Now let's work on the last round for the body, which is round 18. In this round, I'll be working on both the loops. I'll be directly working on the very first stitch over here. Make sure to leave the chain 1 and work on the stitch. So the pattern for this round would be single crochet 2 together or single crochet decrease around. So we would do this for a total of 8 times. Once when we complete it 8 times, I'll be joining in my next stitch with a slip stitch, and I'll finish off over here leaving a long tail. Now let us see how to close this opening. To close the opening, I'm going to thread the tail in a yarn needle, and I'm going to take my project like this. Next, I'll be inserting my needle in the front loops remaining of all the stitches in this last round. So once when you do so, pull tight. See how the opening is closed? Now you can secure it with a knot over here if you would prefer that. And we can weave the tail in. To weave the tail in, I'm going to simply insert my hook next to the stitch, and I'm going to pull it out in a random spot in my project. I'll be pulling it out through the red spot over here. And then you can take the needle out and you can trim it off over here. So there we have completed the head and body of our rocket firecracker. Make sure to weave in this tail as well. Now let us crochet the fuse. For that, I'm using a white yarn here. I'll start off with a magic circle followed by 6 single crochet inside the ring. This would be my round 1. For the pattern of the fuse, we'll be crocheting in rounds, and I'm not going to join at the end of each round. So now for the next 5 rounds, that is from round 2 to round 6, I would follow the same pattern. The pattern is 1 single crochet in every stitch around. Each round would have a total of 6 single crochet. You can use a stitch marker to help you identify either the beginning or the end of each round. This is my round 2. After completing this round, make sure to turn the project so that the right side is outside, and then I'm going to crochet 4 rounds using the same round 2 pattern, and I'll meet you at the end of round 6. At the end of round 6, our project would look like this. Now I would join with a slip stitch in my next stitch and finish off over here, leaving a long tail. We will use this tail to sew the fuse onto the rocket firecracker, so make sure the tail is long enough. Now let us crochet the stick. For that, I'm taking my tan yarn here. The pattern for the stick is similar to that of the fuse. So for round 1, I will do a magic circle followed by 6 single crochet inside the ring. For the pattern of the stick also, we'll be working in rounds, and I'm not going to join at the end of each round. For the next 17 rounds, that is from round 2 to 18, I'll be following the same pattern. The pattern is 1 single crochet in every stitch around. Each round will have a total of 6 single crochet. I'll meet you after I complete round 18. So this is how a project will look after round 18. After completing this round, I'm going to join with a slip stitch in my next stitch and finish off leaving a long tail. You can stuff this lightly, or if you have pipe cleaners, you can put pipe cleaners inside. This is to give the stick some shape. Now let's see how to assemble them. First, I'm going to take the stick, thread its tail in a yarn needle, position the stick in the center of our firecracker at the bottom like this, and sew it in place. You may use pins to help you attach it. This is how our project will look after attaching the fuse. Now I will take my stick, attach it at the bottom next to the fuse. I'll meet you after I attach this. The last step in the assembly is to attach the fire. I'll be attaching the fire to the tip of our fuse over here. For that, I'm taking yellow yarn. I'm taking 4 strands of about 6 inch each. I'll be attaching it to the bottom of our fuse like how I would attach a fringe. To do so, I'm going to take all my strands, fold everything in half, and make a loop over here. Next, I'll be inserting the hook in the last stitch over here or somewhere around the bottom of our fuse. Next, I'm going to insert these loops into the hook and bring the loop to the other side. Once when I have the loops over here, I'm going to grab all the strands, yarn over, and bring all the strands through these loops. So this forms a knot over here. Next step is to tighten this up. So there we have attached fire to the tip of a fuse. You can trim it if you would prefer that. There we have completed our rocket firecracker. I hope you enjoy crocheting this along with me. Please show your support by subscribing to my channel. Thank you for watching.